Across my district, which is both rural and suburban elements, we've heard the same message from constituents over and over again. Overwhelmingly, my constituents do not stand for the ESA proposal we debate here today. One of my constituents said we need to enhance our public schools, not divert their funds. We need to defend private schools' ability to self-regulate, not burden them with government restrictions, which
Mr.
ultimately
Speaker, will the
follow any
Mr. Toth,
state
for what
funding.
purpose?
Not at this time.
For questions.
Not at this time, Mr. Toth.
A private school mom in my district explained how her and her husband worked hard to put their children into private school, wanting their children to have biblical curriculum while avoiding state standardized testing. She worries that ESAs are the foot in the door for the government to begin restricting private schools. The Texas legislature has a constitutional obligation to maintain the public school system. Private schools and homeschools in Texas have done well without our governmental intervention for generations. Why are we even thinking about implementing rules and regulations into the private sector? There must be a reason. Such a proposal has failed to reach this floor throughout history. Maybe it's because members of this body know their Texas Constitution. Perhaps it is because representatives have a good understanding of economics. There are those who say ESAs will create competition and therefore all schools will improve. Well, look at what happened to college tuition when the federal government started handing out money. Tuition skyrocketed. And did higher education in this country improve? I think there's a lot more jobless college students with gender studies degrees out in the world than there used to be. It would be naive to believe that ESAs would help underserved communities or low-income families or children with disabilities. Many private schools are already full. There is no more room to admit additional students in those schools. And as we know, and as the bill acknowledges, private schools can refuse to accept students for any reason, including for disabilities, both physical or intellectual. These ESAs will largely benefit those already in the private school system, families who could already afford the tuition. But private schools can raise their tuition, and then families will end up owing basically what they paid before. I appreciate the opportunity to speak in favor of this amendment today, and I urge everyone to think of the real-world implications and consequences if voucher entitlement bill were to pass the House.